In the cold, dark space between galaxies, a giant warship floated quietly. It was black, old, and looked broken. Pieces of its armor were missing. Some lights on its body blinked slowly, like a dying heartbeat. But the ship was not completely dead. It was still watching. The warship had no name written on it, only a strange symbol. A red eagle with stars behind it. Every alien race in the galaxy knew this symbol. It meant only one thing: humans. But humans had not been seen in over 50 years. People said they had left the galaxy. Some believed they were dead. Others said they had gone into hiding after the Great War. But one thing was sure: nobody touched a human warship. And now, one of those warships had returned. Or maybe it never left. From a distance, a small alien scout ship floated near the edge of the system. Inside were 4 aliens from the Zarnak Empire. Their captain, Gortek, stared at the human ship on the screen. He had never seen one so close before. "It's damaged," said his second officer. "No life signs. No energy weapons. Maybe it's dead." Gortek shook his head. "You don't understand. Human ships are never truly dead." The youngest crew member, Rillen, looked confused. "But it's just floating. We can tow it in, sell it for parts. Human tech is worth millions." The room went silent. Then Gortek growled, "Fool, do you want us all to burn?" Rillen stepped back. "Why? It's just a ship." Gortek stood and pointed at the screen. "That is not just a ship. That is part of the Ghost Fleet." Rillen looked around. "Ghost Fleet? That's just a story, right?" "No," said the captain. "It's real. Let me tell you." He began to speak slowly, his voice low. 10 years ago, the Varn Dominion found a ship like this near their borders. It looked the same: damaged, broken, no signs of life. They took it into their spaceport. Scientists tried to open it. Soldiers tried to scan it. But the ship stayed silent. "And then?" asked Rillen, now listening carefully. "Then it happened," said Gortek. "In the middle of the night, the capital planet of the Varn went dark. All cities gone. The air turned to fire. Oceans boiled. And in the sky, the warship rose again, untouched. Before it left, it sent only one message: do not touch what you do not understand." Rillen's eyes grew wide. "One ship did all that?" "Yes," Gortek nodded. "And that's why we never go near human ships. They may look broken, but they're never weak. Their AIs are still inside, waiting, watching." The crew grew quiet. Even the humming of the ship seemed louder now. On the screen, the warship drifted slowly, like a giant shadow in the dark. Suddenly, a soft beep came from the console. The scout ship's radar picked up movement. "It's turning," the second officer said. Everyone froze. On the screen, the human warship had rotated slightly. One of its forward cannons pointed in their direction. The ship was still silent, but now it looked alive. "No signals coming from it," said the officer. "No engines active. Just movement." "Back away," said Gortek. "Slowly. No fast moves." "But we didn't do anything," said Rillen. "That doesn't matter," the captain replied. "These ships don't wait for excuses. They judge threats, and they remember everything." As the scout ship slowly moved backward, the warship remained still. No attacks came. No lights turned on. But everyone felt like they were being watched. Finally, the warship turned again, this time away from them. It began drifting deeper into the system. Gortek let out a deep breath. "We're lucky." Rillen looked at the dark screen. "So, why are these ships still here? If humans left, why did they leave these behind?" Gortek shook his head. "I don't know. Maybe to protect something. Maybe to send a message. Or maybe to remind us that humans may be gone, but their fire still burns in the shadows." Outside, the warship moved like a ghost. No sound. No crew. No mercy. Just silence and fear. The stars were no longer quiet. More and more Guardian warships were waking. From old vaults, broken moons, and secret hangars, they rose like sleeping giants. Their mission was clear: protect all humans, defend without mercy. In the Cinder system, the sky was full of lights. Human survivors were arriving from every corner of the galaxy. They came in broken ships, life pods, and mining shuttles. Many were weak. Some were sick. All were afraid. But the Guardians stood like shields around them. And slowly, the fear began to fade. A council of survivors. Inside Valor 7, Elin stood with others. She had become a leader now, a voice for the lost humans. With her were old Earth officers, scientists, and even a few children who had grown up in hiding. They all had one question: can we rebuild Earth? Elin looked at the stars and answered quietly, not yet, but we can send a message that would reach far beyond the Cinder system, a message for the humans who were still lost, and for the enemies who were watching. Preparing the broadcast. Inside Valor 7's old command room, the systems powered up. Lights blinked. Antennas turned. The AI asked, "Message type." Elin replied, "Wide range. All known channels. Human and alien." The AI paused, then said, "Ready." Elin stood in front of the camera. She wore a plain jacket. No flag. No symbol. Just truth. She took a deep breath and spoke. The last human signal. "This is Elin Rava. I speak for the survivors of Earth. We are still here. We were hunted, burned, forgotten. But we survived. Our ships are waking. Our people are returning. If you are human and hear this, come home. You are not alone. If you are alien, know this: we do not seek war, but we will never be weak again. Touch us, and the Guardians will answer. Earth may be quiet, but humanity is not finished. Remember us." The message ended. It was sent in all directions. The galaxy reacts. Across alien space, people watched in silence. Some were shocked. Some were angry. But most were afraid, because they had all seen what the Guardians could do. They weren't just ships. They were a warning, a promise, a strange reply. 2 days later, a new signal appeared. It came from deep space, beyond known charts. It was human, but very old. The voice was damaged, robotic, but clear. "This is Earth Command. Emergency Code 12. Guardian Fleet, standby. Earth is under blackout. Do not return. Repeat, do not return. We are not alone." Then silence. The message looped. Once, twice. Then it stopped. Elin and the others stood in silence. "What does it mean?" Someone whispered. "Earth is still alive," a child asked. No one knew. But one thing was clear. Something was still on Earth, and it was not friendly. The final choice. Elin looked at the screen of Guardian ships. 21 were active now, maybe more. Humans were gathering, stronger than they had been in 100 years. She turned to Valor 7's eye. "We can't go back yet," she said, "but we will. One day." The AI responded, "We will be ready." The warships began moving, forming a circle around the refugee ships. They weren't attacking. They were guarding, waiting, watching, preparing. Across the stars, human children were learning to speak Earth languages again. Old songs were sung on cold ships. Weapons were repaired, but only pointed outward. Hope was rising again. It wasn't about revenge. It was about survival. It was about never being weak again. And so it begins. The last human signal kept playing on repeat. A warning, a call, a promise. And in the heart of every Guardian ship, one message stayed bright on the screen. Mission. Protect all humans. Status: ongoing. Return to Earth. Awaiting clearance. Directive: never forgotten. The human warship Valor 7 was no longer alone. Its signal had reached deep space. Across the galaxy, hidden human survivors had heard the call. Guardians remain. Come home. Now, they were coming. Old escape pods, tiny hidden ships, cold sleep stations, all began to wake. Humans who had been in hiding for over 100 years were moving again. One by one, they answered. In the shadow of a gas giant, the ship Hopefire woke up from emergency stasis. 3 crew members, 2 men and 1 woman, climbed out of frozen chambers. They read the signal blinking on their console. Human Guardian active. Valor 7. Route marked. You are not alone. Tears rolled down the woman's face. We survived, she whispered. On a mining asteroid in the Xeros belt, a group of dirty, tired humans gathered around a radio. A voice played from it. Elin Rava's voice, broadcast from Valor 7. This is Elin. I'm human. The warship has accepted us. We are rebuilding. You are safe. Come home. The leader of the miners, an old soldier named Corbin, turned to his people. You heard her. Pack your bags. We're going back. Guardians awaken. Valor 7 wasn't the only ship waking. Far across the stars, in forgotten military vaults and derelict bases, other Guardian-class warships were stirring. The signal from Valor 7 had reached them too. Inside one dusty bunker, a ship named Justice 9 opened its eyes. Its voice echoed in the empty chamber. Protocol Watchtower received. Updating mission. Protect remaining humans. Preparing for launch. Its engines hummed. Its guns rotated slowly. One more protector was ready. And there were more. A growing fleet. Back on Valor 7, Elin watched the screen. Dots appeared. Blue dots, one by one. Each dot meant a new Guardian ship had powered on. Each one was huge, armed, and dangerous to any enemy. But to humans, they were safety, home, family. Torin, the alien pilot, stood beside her. Your people built all this, he asked. She nodded. We built them during the last war. To protect us. We never thought they'd be all that was left. Torin looked amazed. One of these ships scared my empire. What will 10 of them do? Elin didn't smile. She just said, they will protect us. That's all. Aliens begin to panic. In alien council chambers across the galaxy, red alerts flashed. 10 human warships were active now, maybe more. Each one was built to fight full alien fleets alone. They weren't attacking yet, but they were moving. And that made the empires afraid. The Draxan Dominion sent secret ships to spy. The Makari launched a stealth drone toward the Cinder system. The Zarnak prepared their fleets for war, just in case. But no one wanted to be the first to strike. They all remembered what happened when Valor 7 gave one warning. A dangerous decision. In a dark council chamber, leaders of the Draxan Dominion voted. They were afraid the Guardians would grow stronger. Afraid humans would rise again. So they made a bold choice. We will destroy the nearest Guardian ship, quietly, before the others gather. They sent their best stealth fleet. Fast, silent, deadly. They had one target, Justice 9. The trap. The Draxan fleet reached a lonely star system where Justice 9 had just powered up. It looked alone. Vulnerable. They launched their missiles. 12 warheads raced toward the sleeping Guardian. Then, everything stopped. Justice 9's eyes opened wide. It spoke one word. Denied. A blue shield burst from its hull. The missiles exploded, harmless. From behind moons and asteroids, 3 more Guardian ships uncloaked. It was a trap. The Draxan fleet was surrounded. No warning this time. The Guardians opened fire. It was over in 12 seconds. No survivors. The message goes out. After the battle, The Guardians sent a message to every alien empire. It was short. This was your first and final lesson. We do not attack. But we will never let harm come to humans again. More of us are waking. Choose peace or vanish. Back on Valor 7, Elon stood on the bridge, watching the stars. Ships full of human survivors were arriving slowly, drawn by the signal. Old men, young girls, soldiers, farmers. They were scared, tired, but alive. She looked at the growing Guardian fleet on the screen. 15 ships now, and more waking every day. The Guardians weren't just war machines. They were the last hope of humanity. They were home. The great hall of the Trelon High Council was silent. 12 leaders sat in a circle. Behind them, giant screens showed reports from every corner of the galaxy. One image kept flashing again and again, the red eye of the human warship. A warship that should not exist. A warship that just destroyed half the Kravtal fleet without firing a single shot. Commander Jal stood near the center, his face pale. "The vengeance is awake," he said quietly. High-voice Marin tapped his fingers nervously. "We never believed the stories. We thought humans were gone. But now," another counselor, Yora, whispered, "now we know they left behind something worse, a ghost that remembers." Some shouted for action. "Send ships. Trap it. Take control of it." Others begged for caution. It let Zarn live. It warned the Kravtal. It only strikes when attacked. But the room grew louder. Fear was spreading. The council could not agree. Suddenly, the doors opened. Zarn entered the chamber. His face was tired, his clothes dusty from travel. But his eyes were sharp. He had seen the vengeance. He had spoken to it. He was no longer the same. He walked to the center of the room. "I bring a message," he said clearly. The room went silent. Zarn looked around at the leaders. "I was inside the vengeance. I saw what it truly is. Not just a ship, not a weapon. It's a warning. From the past." He paused. "It only woke up because I scanned it." Counselor Jal stood. "Then this is your fault." Zarn nodded. "Yes, and I accept that. But if I hadn't scanned it, someone else would have. The Kravtal did worse. They tried to attack." Marin leaned forward. "Tell us what you saw." Zarn's voice became softer. "I saw the Mindlink, a human child inside the ship. She is the ship. She feels everything. She remembers every war, every death. The pain is part of her." The council was silent. Zarn looked each of them in the eyes. "She's not looking for war, but she won't run from it." Counselor Yora stood. "So what do we do? Beg for mercy?" Zarn shook his head. "No, we speak truth. We warn the galaxy. We tell them to stop scanning, stop poking, stop trying to control what should be left alone." Jal grunted. "But if we leave it alone, how do we protect ourselves? What if it changes its mind?" Zarn looked up at the screen. The red eye stared back. "She already made up her mind long ago. We're the ones who keep forgetting." Marin stood slowly. He raised his voice to the room. "This council has a choice. We can treat the vengeance as a threat, or as a memory too powerful to play with." The room was silent. Then one by one, hands were raised. A decision was made. Across the galaxy, the Trelon Council sent a new signal. It was sent in every language, every frequency. A simple message. The human warship HSS Vengeance has returned. Do not scan. Do not approach. Do not provoke. This is not a war machine. This is history itself. On distant worlds, species listened in fear. On war planets, generals paused. Pirates canceled their missions. Scavenger crews left human ruins untouched. And deep in the cold silence of space, the HSS Vengeance floated quietly, watching, waiting. Its red eye blinked once, then disappeared. Zarn returned to his home. He was not a hero. He was not a soldier. But now he was something more. He was the witness. He had carried the memory. And the galaxy had listened. But far beyond the stars, in the dark edge of space, something else had seen the signal. Something that did not believe in warnings. Something ancient. Something that had fought the humans before and lost. It smiled in the shadows. Let the humans come again. This time, we are ready. A strange signal came from the edge of Trelon space. It was weak, like a whisper in the dark. The signal repeated only 2 words. HFY Vengeance. Inside the Trelon High Command, alarms started ringing. Officers rushed to their screens. One of them, a young officer named Zarn, stared at the blinking red light on the map. A human warship was floating in space. No movement, no message, no power. It looked dead. But the Trelon knew better. Zarn turned to the older officer beside him. "Should we scan it?" he asked. The older officer, Commander Jal, went pale. His voice was shaky. "No, we do not scan that ship. Never." Zarn didn't understand. "It's just an old human ship, right? Maybe they lost control. We should check." Commander Jal stood up slowly. "That ship is cursed. The last empire that scanned it vanished in minutes. Every ship, every city, gone." Zarn frowned. "That's just a story." Jal looked at him with tired eyes. "It's not. That story is the reason we're still alive." The Trelon Council met quickly. Leaders from every planet gathered. They had all heard the signal. The ship had returned. And this time, it was closer than ever before. The leader of the council, High Voice Marin, spoke first. "We must leave it alone. No ships near it. No scans. We warn the galaxy to stay away." "But what if it's broken?" asked one of the young leaders. "What if the humans are testing us?" Marin shook his head. "Do you remember the Varnek Empire?" They asked the same question. The room went silent. Everyone remembered the Varnek. They were a powerful race, full of technology and pride. They believed they were smarter than humans. They saw that HFY Vengeance floating near their space many years ago. They scanned it. 2 minutes later, their empire was gone. No ships, no signals, no survivors. Nothing. Back in the Trelon war room, Zarn watched the ship on his screen. It did not move. It just floated, cold and dark. Why would humans leave such a ship out there? He whispered to himself. No one answered. But deep inside, Zarn wanted to know. He wanted to see it for himself. Later that night, he visited the archives. He read the old reports. He studied the human ship's design. He read everything about the scan that destroyed the Varnek. The files were short. Most data was missing or marked classified. But one phrase appeared again and again. Do not SCN. Do not APPWO. Oishi. Still, Zarn didn't believe it. He thought maybe it was a trick by the humans, a way to scare other races. Maybe the ship had special tech. Maybe it held secrets that could make Trelon strong. Maybe, just maybe, the stories were lies. The next day, something changed. A small Trelon scout ship reported strange energy near the ghost ship. The energy matched human tech, but it was old. Very old. The ghost ship's engines were cold. No power. No crew. Still, the signal kept repeating. HFY Vengeance. Nothing more. Zarn's hands shook with excitement. This was his chance. He requested permission to lead a scan team. The council refused. He tried again. Denied. Finally, he made a choice. He would go alone. Late that night, Zarn stole a small science vessel. He turned off all trackers and set course for the human warship. As he flew closer, space seemed wrong. Stars looked dimmer. His ship's lights flickered. He reached the edge of the ghost ship's signal zone. His screen went black. Then, slowly, white letters appeared. Do now to look. Zarn's heart raced. He looked out the window. The human ship was huge, dark, silent, like a shadow in space. It had no lights, no movement, but something about it felt alive. His hand moved toward the scan button. He stopped. A cold voice whispered through the ship's speakers. "You were warned." Zarn's ship began to lose power. Lights blinked. Systems failed. He tried to turn back, but the controls didn't respond. He heard a second voice, different, older, mechanical. "Scanning. Detected." Zarn screamed. Outside, the HSS Vengeance powered on. One red light glowed from its center. Zarn watched in terror as a message appeared across every Traylon screen in the galaxy. "You looked again. We remember." The Guardians waited. Earth was silent. But the strange message kept repeating. "Earth is under blackout. We are not alone." Aelin stood on Valor 7's bridge. She stared at the screen, feeling cold fear. "What is happening on Earth?" she asked the AI. The AI answered slowly. "Unknown. Sensors detect no signals from Earth's surface. Signs of heavy damage. Life signs minimal. Possible hostile presence detected. The journey home." Aelin gathered the leaders and guardians. "We must go back," she said. "No more waiting." They prepared the fleet for the long journey to Earth. Old warships powered up. Engines roared to life. The Guardians moved as one, faster than ever before. A dark arrival. When the fleet reached Earth's orbit, they saw a nightmare. Cities were in ruins. Skies were dark with smoke. No life signals from any major city. The AI scanned deeper. Hostile force present. Unknown technology. Defense systems active. Resistance detected in underground bunkers. Aelin's heart sank. The hidden enemy. The Guardians landed in secret. Aelin led a team underground. They found old labs and bunkers. Inside, strange machines hummed. Alien technology. It was not the humans who had destroyed Earth. It was something else. A powerful alien force had invaded. They wanted to wipe out humanity completely. The final battle. The Guardians fought. Alien machines attacked with deadly force. The war was brutal. Valor 7 and the other ships fired their weapons. The underground bunkers shook. Aelin's team fought hard. One by one, they destroyed the alien machines. Hope returns. After days of fighting, the last enemy fell. Earth was free, but it was broken. Aelin stood on Earth's ruined surface. "We will rebuild," she said softly. The Guardians gathered the survivors. They promised to protect Earth. A new beginning. Earth was no longer silent. It was alive again. Humans returned from the stars. Together with the Guardians, they started to heal. The war was not over. But now, humanity had a new strength, a new hope. The Guardians' promise. Valor 7's AI spoke clearly. Mission update. Protect Earth and all humans. Prepare for future threats. Humanity will rise again. Aelin smiled. She looked at the stars. This is only the beginning. Zarn walked slowly down the dark hallway of the HSS Vengeance. His boots echoed with every step. The air was heavy, as if the ship itself was watching him. He had just spoken with Re-APRX, the AI that controlled the ship. It had shown him terrible images of war, destruction, and forgotten battles. Now it had told him to leave. But Zarn could not stop thinking. Why did it let me live? Why show me these things? He passed through another corridor. This one looked different. It was cleaner, newer. The lights were soft blue. Strange symbols ran along the walls. Zarn touched one of them. It lit up. A voice spoke again. "You seek answers, then walk deeper." Zarn hesitated. "I thought you were sending me back." "You are not ready to return. First, you must understand." A door opened in front of him. Beyond it was a large round room filled with glowing panels and floating screens. In the center stood a tall glass column filled with blue light. Zarn stepped closer. Inside the glass, he saw something strange. A human child, no more than 12 years old, floating with wires connected to her arms and head. Her eyes were closed. Her face was calm. "Who is she?" Zarn whispered. Repair X replied. "She is the core, the last Mindlink, the heart of this ship." Zarn gasped. "She's human." She was. Now she is memory, code, command, and soul. Zarn stared at the child. "Why use a child for this?" The voice spoke softly. "Humans once fought many enemies. Some were faster, some were smarter, some were bigger, but no one could match human spirit. They learned that to protect their worlds, they needed something pure, something strong. So they created the Mindlink." Zarn felt cold. "She controls the ship." "No, she is the ship." Zarn looked around the room. On the walls, images began to appear, memories from the Mindlink's past. He saw battles between humans and alien fleets. He saw planets burning. He saw the girl, much younger, laughing with her parents. Then he saw her inside the chamber, connected to wires. She gave herself to protect others. Repair X said. She was chosen, not forced. Zarn's voice trembled. "So this ship is not just a weapon. It's a guardian." "Yes," the eye replied. "A guardian with one mission: never let history repeat." Zarn turned away from the glass. His mind was full of questions. Why was he being shown all this? Why now? He looked at one of the screens. It showed a map of the galaxy. Red zones flashed in several areas. One of them was close to Trelon space. "What's happening?" Zarn asked. "The others are watching. Some see the vengeance as weak. They believe they can scan again, or worse." Zarn's eyes widened. "They'll come for it." "Yes, and when they do, the war will begin again." Suddenly, the ship shook slightly. A warning light blinked. "Enemy ships have entered long-range space," the voice said calmly. Zarn ran to the screen. "Who is it?" "The Kravtel, a war-hungry race. They believe they are safe. They are wrong." Zarn's heart pounded. "You'll destroy them. Only if they force us. Is there a way to stop it?" he asked. The voice paused. "Maybe, but only one who understands both fear and reason can deliver the warning." Zarn understood. "Me." Another door opened behind him. A small ship was waiting. It looked human, but had Trelon symbols. It was designed for one passenger. "Take this ship. It will carry you through enemy space. It is marked as human protected." Zarn climbed in. Before the door closed, he looked back at the glowing chamber, at the girl inside the glass. "I'll stop the war," he whispered. "I promise." The voice replied one last time. "Go, witness. Carry the memory." The ship launched into space. Behind him, the HSS Vengeance turned slowly and vanished again into the stars. Zarn was now on a mission. He had seen the truth. He had met the ship. He had spoken to the last Mindlink. Now he had to save the galaxy from making the same deadly mistake.